Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Hillman here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a fifth year medical student in the Netherlands in Maastricht University. I'm a diaspora student coach and I'm also a content creator. So be sure to look around my channel if you like what I produce. If you like the videos I make, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on further uploads. But if not, it's a free world. You do you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about it's a book recommendation video, guys. I've been wanting to make this video for the longest time. I'm going to be talking about books which really help me in relationships. For those of you who've been following me for a while, follow me on Instagram, who know me better, I really value relationships. I really value friendships, value family. I value just having good connections with people in general. If I meet you as a person, I wanna know you. I wanna get to know you as a person, not just have superficial conversations and just leave after having made small talk and stuff like that. Small talk is okay, but after a while, I really want to know who you are as a person. So I think I'm just getting to that stage in life where I value communication. I value connections more than just like hanging around, having a few beers, smoking whatever you smoke, and just doing all that stuff. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what books helped me out like that, because I wasn't just born to be able to communicate with people better or have that interest in better. I think as a human, as a person, I definitely have a genuine interest in other people. I really care about people. I'm a Christian, and God says love your neighbor as you love yourself, and I take that to heart. So I wasn't just born doing that and knowing how to navigate that sphere. So I read a couple of books at some point. I had the vision for myself, the goal for myself to be able to communicate better with people, to be able to understand people better and stuff like that. So I had a vision, I had a goal, and how was I going to achieve that goal? Reading books, listening to podcasts and stuff like that. So there's some books which I knew played a really crucial role in helping me get better at doing this, get better at understanding people, get better at communicating with people and stuff like that. Just get better at listening to people, which is also very important, which a lot of people don't do nowadays. So I'm going to be talking about those books here. There's 3 of them I've picked out, and I feel like this is just a hot take, my take. Once you read these books, in my opinion, once you read these books, a lot of other self-help books or like books which help you with relationships and communication are going to become repetition. They're going to feel like repetition, because I know after I read these books, a lot of other books people recommend, I read a couple of paragraphs and stuff like that, it just feels a lot like repetition to me. And there's always something in that book though. There's always something that author does differently, or their style of writing connects with a different audience, or one chapter in the book is very peculiar to you and your experience and stuff like that, where it just captivates you and stuff like that. But I feel like I read books after these books, and like 10% of them felt like, ooh, that's new, that's wow, and like 90% felt like repetition. So I feel like these books are really core, because for me they have the most information and stuff like that. But you can always feel free to try others, and if you've tried others which are like really great compared to this, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to check this out as well. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first book I'm going to be talking about here, the first book is The Art of People by Dave Kerpen. And I think that was the first one I ever read. I don't know, I think someone bought it for me, or someone recommended it strongly to me, and I was like, okay, no, I might just check the book out. The style of writing was good. The cover looked very interesting. It looked like the cover of the book, The Fault in Our Stars. I've read the book, I've watched the movie, and in both of them, I cried like a kid. I was like, why is this? Like The Fault in Our Stars, if you've watched that movie, you know what I'm talking about. I read the book as well. After watching the movie like 3 times, I'm crying all 3 times. I still cried after the book. I was like, bro, there's something here. So the fonts of the cover of that book looked like the fonts of the cover of the book of The Fault in Our Stars. So I guess that's more or less, that was also like a small factor that pulled me towards the book. But I read the book, and it was just life-changing. Just giving you scientifically backed information and nuanced information on how to communicate with people better, how to understand different nuances in communication, how to understand that people are going through different struggles, and how to be compassionate to people, how to be a better human being, how to live in an environment where you have understanding, you have, you know, you're intentional about understanding people and not just waiting for the listing to like just, you know, cancel people or just like write people off and stuff like that. I feel like the book was really about breaking down stuff to you so you can understand the nuances of human interaction. I feel like for me that was so key, because it gave me so much of a broader perspective to what I was hoping to work on, to that goal. Like, how can you do it? What can you work on? And there were so many things which I identified. Okay, I could work on this, I could look into this, I could test this out with some friends, I could test this out with family members and stuff like that. And for me that was like, I read the book, and I had to buy a copy for my friend. I was like, yo, bro, you gotta read this book. Just read the book. And everyone who asks me for recommendations on recommendations on books which could help them interact with people better and just work better on their relationships, this is the first one I always recommend, right? Because I just think the book was really transformational for me, right? That leads me to the second book, which I think it's older than the first one. It was written way before the Art of People, but I think the Art of People was more simplified for me. I must confess I have not completely read the second one because, like I said, a lot of it feels like repetition, but I've watched videos about it, I've listened to the audiobook and stuff like that, so I know what the book is talking about. The second one I'm talking about is the How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a powerful book. How to Win Friends and Influence People is just a powerful book, and I feel like that's the OG book when it comes to learning how to interact with people better and just trying to build better connections with people around you and trying to be at a position where you can impact people's lives positively, hopefully. And that's like a much older book. There's been a lot of revised versions of it. And I feel like a lot of the stuff which is in how to like the subtle art of people is also probably in how to win friends and influence people. But it's just in a simplified way, a more digestible way, in a more practical way, using more practical terms and examples and modern day examples and stuff like that. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a great book as well. I think they talk about like everything. They talk about everything. So I feel like you can't go wrong with any one of these two, because in my head, they're almost basically the same thing. So you cannot go wrong with any one of them. But I personally it's a personal preference. I would go first with with the subtle art of people, and then maybe add How to Win Friends and Influence People. But if you, in my opinion, read How to Win Friends and Influence People, then the subtle art of people is going to feel like repetition, but then it's going to feel like a little bit of a buffed up repetition, if you know what I mean. It's going to feel like a little bit, it's amped a little more. It's like there's a little more to it. There's a little sauce to it. There's something extra to it. But I guess, just let me know. This is my opinion. So if you've read these both books, The Subtle Art of People and How to Win Friends and Influence People, let me know what your opinions were about these books. Let me know if you thought they were the same thing, if you thought they were like completely different. I'm curious if other people experience it the same way I experienced it. But those are my first two takes with regards to this topic. And the third one, which I actually have a copy of here, because the other ones I read and I gave to people, or I read the audiobooks and stuff like, or I listened to the audiobooks. But this one is one I have here. This is actually my sister's copy, because I read mine and I gave it to a friend who gave it to his brother, and his brother never gave it back and stuff like that. I never got my copy back. But I wanted to really recommend it to someone else, so I borrowed my sister's version, which I also bought for her, to just give it to a friend, and I got it back and it's in my room. It's this book. It's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Guys, let me tell you, when I tell you about a book I have read and been thoroughly impressed by, it's this book. It talks about negotiating as if your life depended on it, right? And Chris Voss is he has years as a special interrogator for the FBI or whatever, I think it was in America. So he has a profile with really nuanced interactions with people. He also has a masterclass on the masterclass website or the app, for those of you who know masterclass. He talks about the book. I read the book, I watched the masterclass, I've watched his YouTube videos. I'm a huge fan of this guy and his work with regards to just communication and interaction. Basically what he talks about is a lot of interactions in life are a negotiation, whether or not you're aware of that, whether or not you're conscious about that fact. And that's just true. Whether or not you like it, you're negotiating with a lot of people around you. Like, even if it's just asking for food from your mom or whatever, it's a negotiation. And if you are able to be aware of that and to realize that, then you can really leverage your abilities in that interaction, you know. And he just gives you tips on how to interact properly, and these tips are also grounded in his years of experience as an interrogator, as a professional interrogator, and just what he has learned about human dynamics from that, and the tips he has gotten from that, and the lessons, and how he has tested that in different scenarios, and how he's worked, and how he's proven this as well scientifically, and how, you know, it's just, he just takes you on this whole journey of using his experience to tie that with science and educate you on something as basic as human interactions, but looking at it from a different lens of negotiating in every scenario. And it's just like, wow, how did you do that? But he just talks about the tips and everything, and he splits it down into different chapters. For example, beware of yes, master no. I'm someone who finds it really difficult saying no, so reading this and like understanding what he means by master no, which is like, wow, okay, this is cool. And it was just, the tips in here are just great. So like, this book is definitely one I would recommend for you to just be able to interact more intentionally with people around you, because you know interactions, whether you like it or not, negotiations, and whether or not you're aware of that, it just puts you in a much better position to be able to know that that's what you're currently in and be able to navigate that space intentionally. But I think this was my third recommendation. Yeah, guys, those have been it for me. The 3 books which really helped me personally in interacting with people, negotiating with people, understanding people, listening to people, being better at communicating, and just building more fulfilling relationships, building more long-lasting relationships, I guess, relationships where we really understand each other and stuff like that. I hope these books have been helpful to someone. If you've been looking for recommendations, I would definitely start here. Let me know what you think about some of these books. If you've already read them in the comment section, let me know if you want to know more about other books I'm reading, because I have a lot of other books I'm reading. I'm going to make a review of the books I'm reading this year because I have like monthly reads, and that video is coming up as well. Be sure to subscribe if you want to know more about those as well, if you want to see the videos I upload in the coming future. But yeah, guys, these have been the books which have really helped me the most, I think, with relationships and just understanding people and better communicating with people. I hope that was helpful to someone. Until the next video, guys, have a blessed day and peace.